Hey there, Chase from the edit here. Um, Before the video starts, I just wanted to say, first off, I'm sick, which is why my voice is raspy, and second off, this video is very poorly mixed. My voice is quite quiet, and the game is quite loud. So when I'm breaking blocks, you might not hear me very well, and the ambient track playing in the background is kind of significantly louder than I am. So I'm sorry. It's a bit dog water. Uh, I hope you can still enjoy it, and hopefully I'll do better next time. Okay. All right. Enjoy.
Hello everyone. I was thinking that I would play some Hytale, and I've actually loaded up a flat world here with sort of like a minimal selection of objects that will let me do more than nothing. And I figured that I would just sort of do this casual kind of thing with a face cam and talk about what I think about the game and how I think it could be improved and the ways that I love it because I really like Hytale. So yeah. So yeah, Hytale. It is hard not to talk about it as something other than a competitor to Minecraft, but I think it's done a very good job at being more than that. Um, Simon has talked about how there's a lot of like RPG elements, and I really like those. The combat is flawed in some ways, but I really like that it's interesting. It's a long way from Hypixel with its spam clicking, and then modern Minecraft with its awaiting for cooldowns. And in some ways, there is this feeling of a cooldown with the super ability or the signature ability, I think it's called, where you press the Q. Sometimes it can feel like you're waiting for that. And then also sometimes you'll like bring up your shield and just sort of like wait for the other enemy to attack, and then sometimes the enemy will do the same thing. And I haven't quite figured out if there's a way to stop that from happening, as opposed to just like waiting until someone breaks the stalemate by not holding right click. Then there's that effect with you can't defend while the effect is active, but I'm sure there's complexity that I haven't really figured out yet, but upon first inspection it really does feel like there's a lot to it that just isn't present in Minecraft. So yeah, I like the combat. I really like the dungeons. There's only a lot of the dungeons have just like the work in progress sign, and there isn't anything to them. But I found one dungeon that was in like the underground tundra, and it was huge. I mean, absolutely massive. I'm still exploring it on my main save, and yeah, there's so much loot, and the loot feels like worth it. In Minecraft, like I think the Deep Dark is pretty well designed, but in a lot of ways it feels like, why am I here again? But for Hytale, it's definitely like, oh my god, I got like freaking like cobalt daggers or something like that. And it's like, that genuinely does feel like very powerful, at least the stage of the game that I'm in on my main stage. At some point, everything is sort of meaningless in Hytale because there's no end game. It just kind of keeps going. And so there's definitely that feeling, but that's just a symptom of this being a very early build of the game. Yeah, so the dungeons, the enemies, it is like very well, what's the word I'm looking for, like the enemies are perfect difficulty. It's very well balanced. It feels like I'm dying, and when I do die, I'm like, I didn't assess the risk properly. I was a bit maybe ballsier than I should have been. And dang, these guys are not growing. I do not want to keep mining cobblestone. I'm going to do that. Because I want this to keep going. Okay. So with this 8 essence of life that I got, you can see that I can craft this beach sapling. So I'm gonna do that, and then I can also do this. And only have one, but that's okay. And now I can wait for that to grow. And I have a feeling that maybe it will take too long. Can I change how quickly it goes? Oh, I can. Time dilation. Will this... I think... Will this... Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna put this at 4, okay? So it'll move 4 times as fast. And, oh, it also affects how fast I move. Okay. Hold on. Time world. I'll just manually fast forward the time when I'm like bored. How's that sound? That sounds fair. Great. Yeah, it's a casual thing. Anyway, what was I talking about? I think I was talking about the balance in the dungeons. Yeah, it feels really good. The enemies are hard. I'm going in too strong, and then there's this feeling. This like specific thing happened to me where like I died, and I was using the daggers, and I was like, I feel like the daggers aren't giving me very much defensive capabilities, so I'm gonna swap to a shield and a sword. But I really hadn't used the swords very much at that point in the game, and so there was this feeling of like, okay, I'm gonna train with my sword. And so like when I was at the base camp, or my base camp, I was like training with the sword, and I was like fighting hotter enemies and getting better with the sword. And I was like, this is awesome. This is like training montage type shit. And it's very cool that I get that feeling. Maybe that's just because I'm not familiar with the game. I'm sure something similar could have happened in Minecraft as well, but with how extensive the combat is in Hytale, there's definitely this feeling of like, okay, I need to practice before I can be comfortable going into this dungeon. Another thing I really like is the food system. I really like for right now, in this flat world that I'm in, I have no need to eat food. It would be bad if I did, because I cannot get food. And that's because food is purely about restoring hunger, and it provides you with more energy and a health over time, like a regeneration buff, which I think is just such an incredible way to handle it, because it means that if you're like eating in combat, you're gonna like drain through all your food. But if you're just like ambiently trying to, I don't know if that's the right word. If you're just trying to like in the background gain health, just like eat one apple pie and you'll be good in like 5 minutes or whatever. And that's a really cool way to handle it, because it feels like I'm not just like laying around, but then at the same time it feels like I don't need to eat all the time. Yeah, so that's really nice. As for the things that I'm not a fan of, the crafting times, where, like, for example, if, like, I was in my inventory and I could craft a crude torch, crafting would take, like, 1 second per torch, or maybe, like, a quarter of a second per torch or something like that. And that sucks, because you have to craft so many torches, just, like, to play the game, so a lot of my time, and arrows as well, they're another big one. So a lot of my time is just spent, like, staring at the crafting screen after having clicked, times 10 crafting, 7 times or whatever. And I have to sit there for like a minute, just like watching this bar fill up 100 times over, and that sucks. That's not fun. That's not a game. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not sure what they were going for with that. At the beginning of the game, it was definitely like, oh, okay, I can wait 3 seconds to craft a pickaxe. But for the smaller crafting things like the torch, it just doesn't make sense. If it was something like you upgrade the crafting station and then it becomes instant at some level, I think that would make sense. But at the same time, like I said, I don't really know what they were going for with that. I don't see why we should have to wait for our crafting recipes to finish. It just seems like a weird way to balance something. It doesn't even feel like balance. It just feels like a fun idea that they had. I'm tired of writing rocks, so I'm just going to do that command again. Wow, that's crazy. My tree grew. And so did my wheat. I think I make a return on wheat on average. If if I shouldn't have, god damn, it is so misty. What the fuck? I could like see like 5 feet in front of me. That's crazy. If I need to get these essences of life from this guy, so if I run out, then I'll just cheat it more. And what I could have done was just waited for another cycle of the wheat. I could have planted 3 more wheat instead of getting the tree, but I really just wanted to do this. And there we go. I have wood, and that's a big deal, finding wood, and then also the tree sap and that kind of thing. If I go ahead and not much. Well, I can craft an axe or a hatchet, and then it is worth my time to do that. And there we go. Yeah, one thing is that skyblock is definitely less interesting than in Minecraft, and I think we'll feel that as I'm just gonna. Can I do the give command? I'm going to grab 100 is a bit much. Here, how do I do this? There we go. I'm going to give myself 16, I guess. And then I'll throw this away. Because I don't really want to wait around. This is like a plucky proof of concept over anything. No, there we go. I have to wait for that. And that's fine. You know what I mean? But you can see how that would get annoying really quick. I don't think there's any way for me to get iron, so I just kind of have to wait for it to rain in order to water my crops, which kind of sucks. But whatever. I do really like the farming system in Hytale. It's like a big plus for me. I really like feeling like what I'm doing is leading to something. So if you don't know, as you grow crops, you use that to upgrade the workstation, and then with the crops that you unlock by upgrading it, so like this requires tier 2, this requires tier 2, so to upgrade from tier 2 to tier 3 I need carrot and corn. And so there's definitely this feeling of like upgrading the workbenches. I wish more workbenches worked in a similar way. For example, the furnace, or well, a lot of the workstations can be upgraded, but most of them only upgrade once to level 2. And so, example, for the furnace, it only upgrades to level 2. And I personally think that it's much more interesting to upgrade one furnace to the point where it can pull the weight of my entire ore load, rather than just needing to place 50 furnaces, right? Like, that's already a thing in Minecraft. I've already experienced this sort of like, make 50 furnaces. And I would much rather be like, okay, to upgrade this, I need cobalt and thorium and soul of void, or whatever, or essence of void. And I'll be like, okay, I can do that. And then I upgrade it, and I gain like 2 more slots, and it goes 50% faster, and I'm like, hell yeah, I have 1 furnace. And it's not wasting my time. With the way that the game works, if I craft a chest, and I place it next to a workstation, the workstation will draw from that chest, and then I can craft with resources from that chest. It's a lot like Terraria. Chests also have a I'll show you, even though I really don't need a chest. It has this quick stack functionality like Terraria. I really wish there was a quick stack to nearby chests, because when I get home from a adventure, I don't want to look at every chest, press this button, move on to the next chest. It really makes sense to just quick stack to nearby chests. The range that workstations can draw from chests is pretty short and also weird. I'm not sure if it depends on the tier or something like that, but it's been very difficult for me to like set up the area where I craft. And that's another thing, is that this system of having chests that draw to the nearby workstations kind of makes me want to just pour all my workstations into one place, and then all of my chests into one place. and not like decorate the rooms accordingly, not have like a room for the armory and a room for the alchemy and yada yada, because it's very, very helpful to just be able to draw from the chests, and it's very annoying to not have that ability. And so I think that massively increasing the range that workstations can draw from chests would really benefit that feeling of like of not requiring a main hub. And obviously you like it's good to have a main hub, but I want to have like different rooms. I want to have different rooms for all my workstations. I want it to feel good to exist in, rather than for it to feel like, I don't know, just a place for me to craft, and it has all the workstations side by side in lines and chests side by side in lines. In Terraria, it's like your entire screen is where the chests that you can draw from, and so you can really have like separate, distinct rooms for the crafting stations, and the NPC system also kind of ties into that, where the NPCs need to be like spread out across your world for the best deals. And I think that's just because the Terraria devs realize that it's kind of boring to have one central place in your spawn forest where all of your NPCs live and all of your chests are and all your crafting stations are, and it's much more interesting to influence the player towards having distinct places for distinct things, and I would prefer if the game didn't punish me for doing that by making it more annoying to craft because I can't draw from the nearby crafting stations. After all that yapping, my wheat is finished. Obviously I've been cheating a lot, but nothing I've done is like impossible. Like I said, this is like a plucky proof of concept more than anything else. Because I don't think this will catch on as much as it has in Minecraft. I think Minecraft's like low percent worlds are fascinating, like Skyblock and Flatlands, and like I guess like limiting yourself to like the spawn chunks or something like that. But with Hytale, there's much more of an influence on exploration, which makes it harder to do things like what I'm doing right now, which is the Flatland. And I really want a pickaxe, so yeah, there we go. Okay. It's you know, wait, do you want to sit here and watch me stare at my saplings as they grow? No. And it's also, and like I said, enemies don't spawn at night, so there's no reason to believe that I couldn't have just sat there for, you know, a few, like an hour or whatever. But I don't want to, is the thing. So, there we go. And look at that. I have so much wood, and plant fiber is interestingly a very difficult thing to come by. And when I was trying to figure out like the minimal number of things that I need to get started with, one thing that really intrigued me is that with this guy I can get rubble, right? Because I can just mine cobblestone with my fists. And then in here, in the decorative section, there's like various things you can craft with just rubble. And one of those is mossy gravel. And if I had been able to get moss, maybe I would have been able to get plant fiber. And I'm not sure what I would have done with plant fiber, but I feel like it's possible that I didn't need the wheat, because all I need is some way to get an essence of life, or 5, or actually, or 2, because at that point I can start farming wheat. And then at that point, wheat gives me an infinite source of essence of life, which allows me to upgrade this guy with the wood types that I'll get in here, except for golden wood. I don't think, yeah, I can't get golden wood, so I don't think I could upgrade this fully in a flat world, but that's sort of the idea that I want to try. is like how far can I upgrade this guy. And yeah, no, I think it's very interesting. I think it makes good background for commentary, but it's not very like fun. Oh no, did I dang, I can only get 2 trees. Or no, I can only get 1 tree? Fuck. Okay. Well, I'll get a pickaxe now. I don't think I can get iron in any way. And I have no need for the weapons. I can get a torch. I'll put that in my offhand. Gosh. Oh, I can get a furnace. I can get a furnace. Okay, so I just mined out a bit of cobblestone here, and now I can craft a furnace. And I actually don't know if I can do very much with that, to be honest. I can make a furniture workbench, builder workbench, but I think, yeah, all of these are going to require copper. Oh, I can get, I already have that. All of these, yeah, light hide, I can't get that. Can't get copper. So I think these are kind of the only workstations that at the end of the day I'm going to have. And I don't know if I can do anything with this guy. I could get charcoal if I wanted, but I don't. Well, okay. That's enough of that. Wow, that's crazy. I just stared at my crops for 20 minutes and they grew. My tree, too. Once I upgrade my workstation, I can craft my wheat and lettuce into essences of life, which I think will improve my ability to make a net gain. And yeah, there we go. I can upgrade my thing. Wow. And then I can do this. Ta-da! Now I have nearly 100. That's pretty cool. All right, I need 10 carrot seed, 10 corn, and then I can craft all of this into saplings. Like 7 saplings. That's pretty cool. Crap. Place those around. I should really place them further apart because trees are fucking big in Hytale. And then they all break in like 5 seconds because you just destroy one and it's all gone. So it's very easy to get wood. I do think that like mining trees is very satisfying, but I think it is like I think it does have a balancing issue, which is that it's just so easy to get wood, even in the early game. I mean, if you have nothing on you, you need an axe, you don't need anything like that, and you can just like instantly get so much wood. Yeah, I'll go ahead and place half of this in there, and can craft some stuff, I guess. Gravel. No, I don't have enough. I can only get 4. I better savor these 4 mossy gravel. Gosh, where do I put them? I'll make a cutesy little thing right here. Look at that. It's home sweet home, I'll tell you that. So I've been making somewhat extensive use of the feedback thing in, or I guess my thing is blocking it. This guy right here, you can send in feedback, and so some of the things I've talked about I've sent in, but I haven't talked about everything that I've sent in. One of them was that I think that the game would very much benefit from a trash slot. The way tool durability works is that your tools never like break, the item is never destroyed. It works like the elytra in Minecraft, where it just like sits in a not unusable state, but like it's much slower. Pardon me. There we go. Yeah, it's much slower, so you want to like repair your tools. But a lot of the time it is better to craft new ones rather than repair them. And so a lot of the time you just sit around with like unusable tools or broken tools. And then also there's a lot of clutter in the game. Like there's all the petal types and all the various mushrooms and foliage you can pick up. And there's a lot of different types of block, and there's a lot of different types of wood and that sort of thing. So there's definitely this like sort of inventory issue, like Minecraft has. It does have a larger inventory, and I think there's backpack upgrades. I'm not sure what those entail, but they seem promising for the problem that I'm describing. But just for the sake, when you look at an item and you're like, I don't want this, it's kind of lame to just like throw it on the floor and wait for it to despawn. I don't like littering. I'm a hardcore leftist. So I think a dash slot would be much appreciated. One part of the game that I feel like could be worked on is that the game is very easy. Except for the dungeon that I was talking about, I really haven't been challenged at all at nighttime, because you can just sleep through it. It's sort of the same as Minecraft, where the nighttime doesn't really matter because you can just sleep through it, and there's no reason not to, and so I just do. And that sucks a little because I do want to be challenged, but there's also this part of me that's like, I want to like get stuff done, and so I feel like the game kind of needs to stand in my way, rather than it being a sort of like, just don't go to sleep, you know. It's like a balance concern rather than like a personal grievance, I would say. The way that I think about it is that there's nothing in the game right now that challenges me, except for the dungeons. I have had a lot of fun with the dungeons. They're quite hard, and I really enjoy that aspect of them. And so I would like to see more of that. But nighttime, I either completely ignore by not doing it, or the times where I have stayed awake because I just like can't be fucked to go to bed. It's not. Oh, I forgot to replant my crops. At this point, I just need to get essences of life for the next upgrade. So I'm just planting corn because I think that corn is good for essences of life. I know pumpkins are. So I think I should get a return on investment on these guys. Oh, I can't craft them into essences though, so I should have really done one that I can craft into essences, like wheat or something. But it's okay. Anyway, as I was saying, nighttime also isn't challenging for the times where I have stayed awake for it. There's like one enemy, and it's a dude without legs, and he's just got arms. It's sort of like destroyed Monty from Security Breach. But I distracted myself by mentioning Security Breach. Yeah, that's like the only enemy that I found. There's this one dude that's like a floating eyeball, and I thought he was a mini-boss, and I was like, oh shit, a mini-boss, that's so cool. But he was also really easy to destroy, so I just think that the game kind of struggles with challenging me in any kind of way, which maybe it's designed for people who are like bad at video games. And I'm like too much of a gamer for it, but I guess maybe I'm looking for a difficulty slider, and the game is defaulting to easy mode, and when they add a difficulty slider, it'll be harder. But yeah, for the time being, it's just not very difficult. Though my encounter with that guy did inspire me to think, oh wow, a mini-boss system would be really cool. I think that, like, if on some nights there was a random encounter that was, like, genuinely designed to be quite difficult, that could be really cool. So seeing something like that would really be cool, I think. I think Minecraft also kind of struggles with this same idea of, like, how do we challenge the player? let's make it optional. And while there is some benefit to that, especially for a game like Minecraft, I think there is the case that like there should also be like an intrinsic danger to the game. Like I shouldn't only die when I'm being stupid. I should die because I'm not mechanically skilled, right? And so I think that challenging the player is good, right? I don't think that this game is supposed to be Stardew Valley. I don't want it to be, right? I don't want the only combat to be in the caves. In the case of Stardew Valley, is the reference that I'm making, or the alliteration that I'm making. I don't think that was the right word. But yeah, like with how this game is sort of like an RPG in some ways, I think it would really benefit from like a forced combat system of some variety. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It could be my sort of mini boss idea. It could just be at nighttime the monsters are scary and there's more of them instead of just the Monty guy. One thing that I really like about the game is that it's very pretty. It's a gorgeous game. I love the high-res textures. I've seen a few people complain about them, like they're like kind of an eyesore, but I don't find it that way at all. I find it very, very pretty. I like the increased jump height. You could see there that I jumped up 2 blocks, and then actually because of the ledge grab, you can jump up 3 blocks, and that's pretty cool. Can you jump up 4? Yeah, you can jump up 4 blocks in this game. That's crazy. That's like fucking like LeBron James type shit. You can jump there. I really like how floaty it feels. It's not like too much. It doesn't feel like low gravity. It feels just like a choice that the developers made, and I really like that choice. So I do need lightwood, and this. Oh, I cannot get lightwood. I thought that the birch sapling would unlock because I didn't read it. I can't read. I am an Undertale fan. So I cannot get lightwood. So I cannot upgrade this beyond tier 2. So I am stuck with these crops, which is awesome because I have 117 corn that I will never be able to do anything with. Great. That's fine. I don't care. I'm not fussed at all about that. Alright, I got 10 saplings, so we'll just have to wait for those to grow. But damn, the game is very pretty. I mean, look at this, right? It's a flat world with nothing but what I have created and an endless expanse of green, and yet it is still, like, so pretty. You can't see the end of my render distance through the fog, but that's fine. Yeah, the game is very pretty. I enjoy how it feels to play. I enjoy just existing in the world, which is a very nice feeling. Minecraft can feel that way sometimes, but other times it's a bit of an eyesore with how like bright the textures are and how like uninteresting the weather is all the time. Even when it's raining, it's sort of just like a particle falling, a texture that's just like floating in the air around you. An animated texture, but And but with this game, it's like the rain feels like something that exists within the world, and it's tied to a specific locality rather than being a global phenomenon. And so I really enjoy that aspect of the game. Well, that's the porch done. It looks pretty cool. That is a porch. I think the most apparent feeling in the game is this feeling of like, yeah, this isn't done yet. It definitely feels that way. There's definitely this feeling of like, there's not a lot to do sometimes. I really enjoy building. I really like the material progression. I love the way that the game makes you go to different biomes. So thorium is found in the deserts, and cobalt is found in the frozen areas, and they're both very necessary for upgrading things. Like this guy requires both thorium and cobalt to upgrade. And so when I was able to collect all the pieces together, which was quite difficult, it was very rewarding to have that aspect of the game um, force me to do different things than maybe I would have otherwise. I do think that the game really would lend itself towards a like a tech tree.
Hey guys, Chase from the Edit here. I feel like I didn't really mechanize this point very well, and so I wanted to just come in on my own and explain what I was trying to get at. Um, in Minecraft, there's a lot of tech mods like GregTech and Red Power and even Create, which is kind of the new kid on the block, that meaningfully change the later part of Minecraft's progression. And I think Minecraft is like slowly kind of adopting some parts of that, like the auto crafter and hoppers were introduced, which were kind of like a different part of like the pipes system that was very popular in old versions of the game with their tech tree mods. And I think that Hytale would really benefit from these kind of things because the only difference between the beginning of the game and the end of the game is that your tools are faster and you kill things quicker. But you still have to do everything manually, at least as far as I'm aware. You still have to manually farm your crops, you have to go mining, you still have to manually kill the enemies and get your chickens and whatever and whatnot. And I think that automation has been poorly done by Minecraft. I hate making like mob farms. I really dislike making mob farms, and I think a lot of people are that way too. But I do think that a lot of tech mods have adopted the automation and done it a lot better, and I think that Hytale could really benefit from looking at those mods like GregTech and like Red Power that avoid a lot of the weaknesses of Minecraft's automation system. And if Hytale were to have this higher level of the game where things are being done for you, and there's auto mining, and maybe even some sort of a power system with solar or wind, maybe there could be mills, so that changes how like dough is created. I think that would be very cool. I'm inspired by things like Botania, or Botania, Botania, I don't know, that use a magic system to recreate parts of tech. With how medieval Hytale is, this might make more sense than like fission reactors in some other tech tree mods work. With the magic system that's been teased and sort of exists in the current version, I think it would be very cool to see that magic system extend into the automation space rather than simply more manual labor for the player to do. And I think that that would add a very distinct difference between the beginning of the game and the end of the game, or, you know, the end of the sandbox where everything's done for you and you can focus on building and creating new stuff and upgrading your tech while also doing parts of the game that can't be automated. Like, you could still be farming while your mining robots are working and that kind of thing. So back to the video.
I wanted this side to connect to that guy, but it's not gonna work. So, what do I do? I think I'll have to. I'll have to have like a castle type thing, where the top of this side is like you can go up there with a ladder and look out. I don't think I can put a normal roof up there, which is okay. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. That is one thing that this game could do better. It could break the laws of I guess like Euclidean space and let this specific house style work out better for me. One thing that is pretty easy to notice is that there's a lot of Z fighting in the very complicated block models. So here you can see some, like right there, and then on the farming cart. This one really bothers me. Is these wheels that are just like constantly flickering. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of the models suffer from the same issue. That they are not. They are not. They are Z fighting all the time, which gets in the way and makes it look very messy sometimes. But in general, I think that the game is very pretty. I really like that it's like things are frequently much more complicated. I mean, look at the figure. You know, this is my character. I can go like this. Yeah, she is so much more complicated than the Minecraft model, and she fits in with the style of the game, and that's because the game is comfortable with changing how it looks pretty drastically. And when I say changing, as in like from Minecraft, it looks really weird. Like these guys, they have tilted, faces. Minecraft only does that on like some of the newer mob models, but not on any of the blocks, at least as far as I'm aware. And like, so example, this workbench, it's covered in these little things, and this looks awesome, and this looks awesome. I really like how awesome the game looks. I think that that's the overall feeling is that the game looks awesome, and I really like just existing in the space, and I think that that's a very powerful feeling to have when someone is playing a game. One thing about the game that absolutely drives me up the wall is the ladders. And I've seen some people do cool things with them, like I saw this like wall jump thing, but using them in like standard survival mode is such a pain. So if I walk up to this and I'm like, I want to go up, I have to latch onto it, and I enter this like invisible state where I'm going up and down, right? And whichever way I'm facing, in both of these cases I'm just pressing W. Depends on how far I go up, and then if I stand here, then like I don't go anywhere. So I have to like look up like a weirdo. I can't just like climb the ladder normally. I have to go like, you know what I mean? That's crazy. And then like jumping up the ladder makes you go faster, and so it feels like the game wants me to jump, but then sometimes you just like disconnect from the ladder while jumping. And in general, I think that the ladders could really use some work in how they work. Because like this does not feel good. Like if I'm like, I want to go downstairs, then I go downstairs, and then like look at that, I just like randomly disconnect. It's just so weird. There's definitely some sort of like invisible state going on. And actually here, I'm gonna show you guys my main world. Because I live on top of like a spire of cobble, and that was a mistake because of the ladder system, and I'm gonna show you the absurdity that I have to go through and the damage that I take every single time. It's a wake up call, because I'll wake up in the morning from my bed, and then I'll have to go down these ladders, and I fucking like take 10 points of damage every time, and it's like fucking hell. It's like, I'm sleeping, honk shoe. I wake up, I go outside, beautiful day, and I'm like, okay, I need to go down this ladder, and I can't like you can't just like get on the ladder, right? I can't like shift up to the edge and like enter it. I have to like fall off and then go back on, but I do this thing where where you like ledge grab instead of attaching to the ladder, and so there we go. I'm making it work. And then there we go. That's what I'm talking about. It's so annoying. Oh, and there we go. Right there, I randomly disconnected because I jumped, and it's weird. I like I can't figure out why that happens. And then it's like, if I want to go down fast, if I don't want to like latch on and then go like this because this sucks, I have to like fucking like time it, but it doesn't like work like Minecraft. And so I'm trying to like do something like this, and a lot of the time I'll just take damage because I don't attach to it. But it's like working now. Of course. Oh, I randomly disconnected there. I can't figure out why that happens. But a lot of the time when I do this, I just like don't connect to the ladder in any way. And so when that happens, I just take the required damage. It doesn't seem to be happening now. Also, sometimes what will happen is that as I'm falling down, I'll like attach to the ladder, but then it like teleports me to the top. It's like laughing in my face. I'll jump off. I'll go like this. That was my fault. That wasn't the ladder there. And it'll like teleport me to the top, which just feels like it's like laughing at me. It's sort of like, no, you get back up there. And it's like, oh god. I really don't like the invisible state of being. That was also me. Of climbing. I really wish it was just handled, frame by frame. Sort of like it does in Minecraft. I do like that. What do I like about Hytale's ladders over Minecraft? What do I like? I can't think of anything that I particularly like about Hytale's ladders over Minecraft. I do like that you can't like walk off when I'm going like this. Like I can't just like walk off, and instead I have to jump to get off, which I guess is okay. That's part of the invisible state, I guess. So, what do I even want? I don't know. I feel like most people would agree with me in that ladders feel a bit off. I don't think I'm alone in that, but I could be. Another reason I joined the world is because of teleporters. Teleporters are so powerful. There's no reason to do anything else. Over here you can see I set up this rail line because I thought minecarts were going to be more important, but no, they suck. This doesn't work. You go at like slower than walking speed. I don't know if there's powered rails that I'm missing out on, but yeah, that sucks. And the teleporters are very easy to craft. Over here, I'll show you the crafting recipe. It's azure log, which is just a normal log. Any stone, 10 of it, that's nothing. This is nothing. And azure kelp, which is just like a rare forestable or forageable in a specific forest, but it's like pretty easy to find. And you get a teleporter, and it is instant, and there is no cost to using it. And you just place it down, and you can teleport to any other teleporter. So this right here, Badlands. I'll walk in. Oh, I'm here. That was easy. Let me go back. And so in the dungeon that I was exploring, and I'll show you guys the dungeon, because like I said, I really like the dungeon. I just had a teleporter on me. And when shit started going down, I just hid in a room, and I placed a teleporter, and I was able to just go back home. And that's kind of lame to me. Because it makes this feeling that like actually the entire world is connected and there's no sort of like separation between where I am. Because if I have a teleporter on me, I can always go back home, drop off my loot, get my health back up, get more apple pie, teleport back, and then break the teleporter, and I can always do that. There is no limit to how many times I can do that. And so teleporters are just very powerful with no kind of balance to them. And here's the dungeon I was talking about, and I'll fight this guy. We'll see if I win. I think he's a bow? Yeah, it is. He's, oh, that's another thing, is that the enemies aren't very good at keeping arrows. Oh, I'm gonna die. I didn't see these three guys. I don't think they can open the door. Now see, so now in this case, I could place the teleporter, and I already have one set up, but it's very easy for me to taste one. And I'll go back home, and I'll be like, whew, those three enemies sure were tough. It's a good thing it doesn't matter. And then after I've healed up, which, let's pretend I did, I'll eat an apple pie for you guys, even though it's kind of hard to, like, get more. I'll go ahead and load my crossbow, which is a very powerful weapon. I'll open this door, kill that guy. Load up my crossbow again. And you can see that these guys, they're like, they don't know I'm here, and very often they'll just like completely lose aggro and like fuck off even though I'm like right next to them. No, I want to change. The crossbow does keep you in it, like that guy right there. You can see that guy over there. He's like, wait, what's going on? And he just now regained aggro. So I got those guys. I don't have any torches on me. Wow, that's crazy. Well, I did want to show off the lighting, so This will be alright. Is this a dead end? Oh no. Here we are. You can see. God damn, that guy's big. Fucking hell, I think it's a mini boss. Wow, look at his hand too. Outlander Brute. I haven't fought this guy yet. Hey, dude. Yeah, I can just pepper you through here and you can't do anything about it. Wow, you're big. Anyway, you can. I'm so far underground right now. That blue up there is not skylight. That is crystals. Like I said, I'm so far below the ground right now. So yeah. But these blue lights are so cool looking. I can just go like this and it'll break. And so a lot of structures in the game work like that, where updating them causes their blocks to break, which is just kind of weird. It's sort of just like it feels like that should have been fixed when it was released. Just like updating the, things should not break upon being updated. It's not like they're being placed weirdly, like that is just a normal lantern that isn't placed properly and hasn't been updated. So, not sure what's up with that. I assume that those blocks were placed in an earlier version of the game before they made some changes to how lanterns were placed or something like that. But that's the case for a lot of structures, and also just like trees that are sitting in the environment. If you update them, they'll break, and you'll be like, "Oh, okay, I guess I couldn't have." Breaking a leaf block will very frequently like destroy a whole branch of a tree, and it's sort of like, "Oh, okay, I guess I wasn't supposed to update that," and so that's a little weird. All right, and with that, the inside of the house is done. It's looking really good. I like this house. It's a little fugly, but aren't we all? And look at that. That is that's the house. It's cute. It's a little weird. That wood block is missing. But I like making things that are a little weirdly shaped. I added that sort of like a mohawk thing to the top, which I thought was cute. But I feel like it needs like a weather vane up there, is what I'm thinking. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna craft this guy, and then contend with this ladder, which isn't letting me on. There we go. And right up here, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna place that, and I'm gonna do that. And look at that, it's a weather vane. It's doesn't really look like one, but it's okay. I can go like that. I can go like that. How about that? How about that? I don't really know what weather vanes look like. That looks fine. That looks good. Look at that. So I'll just move all my stuff in there. Give me you. Give me you. I think I should hit an axe on this. It's hard to tell which blocks need an axe and which ones need a pickaxe. For example, the bookshelves require a pickaxe, but then empty shelves require a normal axe. So I guess the inclusion of books suddenly makes it so that the correct tool is the pickaxe for whatever reason. There's not enough room in my house for all of my things. And I'll just put the furnace outside. The furnace can go in the backyard. I'll make a thing right here that lets me go out of the house. And I'll put the furnace in the backyard. It's like a backyard grill, you know what I'm saying? We're getting suburban up in here. Because that's what this game needed. And look at that, wow. Let me place some of these guys. Goated. Yeah. There we go. That's the backyard. Oh, that guy's wrong way. Lol. There we go. And you know what? We can go like that too. That's cool, right? awesome. That's so cool. Okay, there we go. That's the backyard, and I can do my farming here. But yeah, I think I'll leave it there. I don't think there's much more that you can do in the flat world right now. I have all those crafting stations, but none of them like really change the balance. I don't think I can get iron. I don't think I can get thorium. I don't think I can get cobalt. Definitely can't get any of the hides because nothing spawns, no enemies, no nice guys. I don't know if you could like go into the game files and then allow those things, but I did like explore the commands for a little bit to try to see if there was one that like changed how the spawn mechanics worked, so that maybe I could get enemies to spawn, but I couldn't find anything. So for right now, I think we just have these blocks and a pretty house. And I think I'll go ahead and end the video here. There's so much more to talk about with Hytale, so maybe I'll do another one of these guys, but I feel like I just got the main feelings I have on the game out. The overall thing is that I'm just so happy to see it. I'm really excited to see a Minecraft competitor. Minecraft is so important to me, but I just haven't played survival in so long because it doesn't challenge me anymore. It doesn't feel like the game hasn't grown with me. You know what I'm saying? It's still stuck in this sort of like nothing burger state. You know, the sniffers were nothing burger. All of the new updates are kind of nothing burgers, and it's like there are cute things, right? They updated like the baby animals, but that's not interesting. That doesn't make me want to come back. And none of the new features, except for the trial chambers, have made me want to come back. So yeah, now I just play on like servers most of the time, creating stuff with Minecraft, using Minecraft as a creation engine. And I don't know if Hytale will replace that, because I just have so much that I've created in Minecraft that I'm currently working on that I can't port it over. But Hytale is very powerful, and I think that it will replace pretty much every aspect of Minecraft except for the ways that I create with it. I don't think that I'll play survival Minecraft when Hytale is there, but I think I'll still play on servers and create, you know, Dead by Daylight in Minecraft, which is what I'm currently working on, because I can't just like throw away all my progress on that to work on Hytale. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I didn't talk too much. And yeah. Bye.